Morning. A bow and arrow both remember the same tree they were bent out of. How in another body they both once sucked up water and light greedily. The magic of their past is something scientific. There is something in music which forgets us. When we listen, we are remembered. The science of this is something magical. When you stand on a rooftop in the dark, and the sky and the stars sit above you like a collection of mirrors that lie too far away to see what they are reflecting, and their bodies can be described as being both loud and silent in the same moment, and there is a stillness that surrounds you, a stillness that covers your knees, comes up to your waist, submerges your whole body, your tiny existence, until you no longer know what part of you is and what part of you is not of the universe. There is a conversation that happens, a conversation between yourself and the world around you. That conversation is us talking to ourselves. So call this year the year of the synonym, the year where the synonym is made whole. Call this the year where innocence of outcome is propelled forward into action. Call me naive, but I still believe in the power of goodness, that it is not simply a way to live one's life, but rather how our bodies are built to operate, that there is nobility programmed into our hearts. For the last 6 years, I have made my living as a poet. I travel all over the states. I do shows and festivals for various audiences, diverse sizes, diverse types. I spend an average about 4 to 6 months on the road. And the rest of the year, I have the freedom to sit at home and diligently write and create, in principle. It is a wonder, though. It is a blessing that I get to see this world because of poetry, that I get to support myself with something that I love to do, something that I love to do. And this isn't anything special. I don't feel like there's anything inherently special about this. While the job of a poet is not an everyday run-of-the-mill occupation, at least a poet that doesn't starve, it is nothing special. There's nothing special about me, except perhaps my eyelashes. My eyelashes are about the longest one will ever encounter. So nothing special about me except for my eyelashes and everything else. But nothing more special than any of you or any of us. There are talents inside us which allow us to excel in different ways than those that surround us. And these talents lie innate in every one of us. And it is only a matter of discovering their location, unearthing it, and holding it up to the light of the world, announcing to it, this is me. This is what I can do. What I can do. How one does this, I believe, comes down to my belief in 3 things. 1, as mentioned, we are inherently noble. 2, the universe believes in us. We cannot fall, simply land. And 3, we must not fear decision. When we take this fearlessness and apply it to that inherent nobility, a courage awakens in us that enables us to move through risk, to take risks in order to more fully embrace our happiness and more fully realize the people that we are. I was born little, and I grew up little, in a small house in New Orleans, Louisiana, Willow Street. My mother had a bookstore. My father drew bridges and highways. She gardened. On Saturdays, he made us pizza. On nights when it dropped below freezing, she would wrap the plants in blankets and drag the tall ones inside. My father would wrap the pipes with tape and allow them to drip throughout the night. It was an average life. Nothing more or less special than the families we were surrounded by. Our screen door was green. Our porch was small and gray. I remember one frozen morning, my sister and I shoe skated across its icy surface. When my brother came into this world, we planted a tree next to the street. We jumped off of the front steps. We biked blocks. We played football between the parked cars until the street lamps came on. After lights out, we read via flashlight beneath the bed sheets. It was a good life. It was a good life. And at that age, everything about me was something to be mocked, to be made fun of. I was always the tiniest kid in class. My name is one letter away from the word anus. Half Persian and half black and looking neither, I was always more than just a little bit weird, but I was rarely picked on, never beat up. Nothing malicious happened, or at least not that I can recall. I cannot remember a childhood of struggle, but rather one that was a joyous experience. And this experience of joy, I feel, was largely because of how my parents allowed me and my siblings to blossom forth in accordance with who we were as people. When my wife and I were visiting home last fall, my mother shared with us of how important and difficult it is to maintain the ability to provide your children with the tools that will enable them to deal with whatever situations that might arise, to allow them to be resilient, and that this resilience should be centered in their confidence and their assurance of who they are. Now, whether a struggle did happen or didn't happen, or whether I just remembering faultily, is irrelevant. It's a testament to the same thing, that our parents instilled in us the courage, or rather the allowance, the unspoken permission to simply be ourselves. To be ourselves. Springtime in New Orleans brings magnolias and caterpillars, a lot of sunshine, a lot of oak trees, and a lot of open windows. A lot of open windows. It gets hot down there. Half a mile from my house, a levee rose, holding the Mississippi in its arms. And the train tracks ran between it and our house, and under the moon, the train tracks and the river water both shined silver. At night, I would lie under that open window, listening to the train bells ring in the distance, watching the moon hold herself over the dark land. At bedtime, our mother would sing to us. She would sing, "Ye are the stars in the heavens of understanding, the soft-flowing waters upon which must depend the life of all man." It was a prayer by Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah is the prophet and founder of the Baha'i faith, which is the religion my parents practice and the ones that I follow, what we were raised in. And Baha'u'llah writes that, "Noble have I created thee." Noble. What a word. What a glorious word. The universe created us noble. This walks with me. Every day in all that I do, there is a joyous beauty in the beings that we are. We are created noble, and this nobility is inscribed on every one of our hearts. This is what my parents gave us, what my mother told me every night, that all of us, we are the stars in the heavens. The stars in the heavens upon which must depend the life of all men. When we recognize the belief in ourselves and the belief in others, this can carry a people. It can lift us. We become extraordinary when we realize how extraordinary our existence is. So call this the year of putting the fire out and building the bonfires back up again. This time taller, this time brighter, hotter. I believe that the universe speaks to us. When I was a boy, there was an issue of Spider-Man I recall reading that guest starred the mustachioed and mysterious Dr. Strange. And Dr. Strange, purveyor of alternate dimensions and parallel sciences, stated, and I quote, "Magic is simply undiscovered science." How simple, how apparent, how true. I've carried this comic book word balloon in my thoughts for 25 years now. That is a long time. It is a long time to be carrying a funny book in your thoughts. But magic is only discovered science, and science thus is merely undiscovered magic, or rather discovered magic. This is incredible to me. Incredible. Every atom in our bodies, it comes from a star. Simply put, in the expanse of the universe, in the burning gas of stars, atoms were fused and elements formed. And these pulsing stars collapsed and exploded however many eons ago. Sending these particles, these building blocks of matter, to fall and form and collect and create the planets, this planet, and the life forms upon it. Carl Sagan says the nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our apple pies were all made in the interior of collapsing stars. Hot damn! That's astounding. Hot damn. My wife, she believes in the microscope, and I in the telescope. She believes in the power of the earth. There is something in it that she is drawn towards. The molecules, the cells, the biology, how the mechanics of nature works, how our muscles move, how the blood flows. She believes in what she can pick up, what she can see, because inside it are doorways into a myriad of other realities. And the ways in which the earth pull at my wife are the ways in which the night pull at me. It is as if when the night begins, a chorus rises. And it's not so much a night versus daylight sort of thing, but rather that at night the stars are illumined and there are parts of me that call home in that direction. And that call is a question, a bag of questions, wondering how the mechanics of nature works, how our muscles move, how our blood flows, where we come from, what are we made out of, what are we a part of. My wife and I believe in very similar things and search for them in different ways. The only difference between the microscope and the telescope is their usage. One makes that which is big smaller, and the other makes that which is small larger. Mr. Sagan says, we are a way for the universe to know itself. Some parts of us remember where we came from. We long to return. Inside of us, at times, I feel there is a mysterious longing. A longing that has no center, no answer, and perhaps that longing is that return to what we came from, where we are, who we are. So call this the year of letting the stars back inside, of building the solar system back up. Perhaps it is mumbo-jumbo, perhaps it is magic, perhaps it is partially discovered as science. Every December, my friends and I, we name the approaching year. Year of the Joe, year of the Rick. It started with names within our circle of friends and then grew to include others, such as our strange neighbor, year of the Pert, and into more fanciful, imaginative areas, such as year of the Sun Princess. The year 2012, we have dubbed the year of no mistakes. And what I find fascinating about this is that my initial reaction is that in the year of no mistakes, this means I'm not allowed to make any. There is so much pressure upon me. But as opposed to that, it becomes that in the year of no mistakes, you are not allowed to make any simply because you can't. Any choice you make will be the right one made. Very often I feel that when choices lie before us, we get so consumed with what the correct outcome might be. Which of these decisions that we make will be the most rewarding path of my life? Which one to choose? Which one to choose? And we find ourselves frozen with this anxiety. So what if the other choice disappeared? What if the magnificence of who we are was no longer held captive by the fear of decision? Between two choices, whichever choice you make will be the right one made. The path you are on, you cannot fall off no matter how hard you try. So call this the year of no mistakes. The year of the heavy sword but stronger hands. The year where we are no longer stuck in the street but found somewhere between the asphalt and the moon, inside a sheath of arrows turning itself into wind. The year where we turn our hearts towards light with the realization and acceptance of not only how utterly magnificent every one of us is, but that this magnificence is something we cannot help but carry with us. There is joy inside of you waiting to be heard. Listen for it, and to the spaces it speaks from. Follow those spaces. Do not tremble before the boulder blocking the entrance into yourself. Do not tremble before the boulder blocking your entrance out of yourself. You cannot fall. You are noble. The universe is a part of you, and you a part of it. And every piece of it is made of science and magic. Every part of you is science and magic. Thank you.